I was riding my bike.
We were in the car together and we were hit.
And it did not stop. It hit me.
Pretty much hit me head on.
I got hit from behind.
My leg was broken in several places.
I had many fractures.
And then I get that phone call and he's been hit.
I knew right away something wasn't right.
My injuries were getting worse.
I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what was going on. And that's when I knew I had to give you a call.
Contact Jed.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. In the next 30 minutes, we'll provide you with important information if you've been injured as a result of someone else's negligence. If you've been injured as a result of a big rig running you down, a semi-truck rear-ending you, contact me at 716-839-3939.
I said, who can I call to help me again? Dietrich.
Oh, that was amazing when I got a hold of you guys and you guys took care of everything.
It was almost like I felt led to reach out to you. It was almost like I felt led to reach out to you.
And I called you and you handled that thing. I mean, you handled it.
I calmed right down because you explained everything.
You came right to the house.
Contact Jed.
You guys took that load off of me. What I didn't know, you guys filled me in.
I knew that I was in good hands and people that I could trust.
Contact Jed.
When you're suffering, to know someone is there for you. That means a lot, Jed.
It made me feel comfortable that all I had to do was focus on my recovery.
You stand by your word.
It just felt right.
I didn't have to deal with the insurance company anymore.
Putting yourselves in my shoes, and I really appreciated that.
I just knew that it was going to be taken care of.
Contact Jed.
Yeah, you're a real fighter.
The whole experience in general was amazing.
It was superb.
A weight off my shoulders.
Contact Jed.
Above and beyond.
That's someone who you should go for.
I would only trust Jed Dietrich.
Contact Jed.
Thank you for joining us. I'm here with my good friends Linda and John Nichols, who I've known for about 30 years. John's a criminal defense attorney in Buffalo. He also does some other general legal work. And his wife, Linda, was involved in an injury accident. And I was flattered to have John and Linda contact me to handle Linda's case. John, tell us a little bit about your practice.
Well, I do a lot of criminal work. And I do some general real estate. So I've done that for about 46 years.
And the other thing that folks at home may or may not know, John is an outstanding tennis player and has won many tennis tournaments in the Western New York area. The reason I mention that is to talk about the legal business being a competitive business. It is a business of winners and losers. And throughout my career, I was a 14-time national champion in the rowing world. I always thought that if I was next to someone, I wanted to get my nose out in front. And I know, John, you were the same way with playing tennis. You wanted to just win every single game and every single set to win the match. And the reason I mention that for the people at home is you need someone who is driven and competitive to handle your case, because there are winners and there are losers. And in the legal world, we want you to win. You can contact us at 716-839-3939 if you've been injured. And Linda had an injury herself. Linda, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
I was riding my bike. I don't recall crossing the street where I did. I don't recall any of the accident.
And that's
either.
an important point to highlight. Linda was on her bicycle. She was crossing Maple Road in Amherst, not too far from our office. And she was struck by an automobile. So what we did was we reconstructed that collision through the police report and the witness statements, and we actually sued your case, did your deposition, did the deposition of the defendant driver, and put the case together in a way to make the strongest argument on your behalf. And again, John, I'm flattered that you contacted me to handle your wife's case after you've been a lawyer in Western New York for how many years?
Well, 46, I think.
46
give or take
years.
A year. But yeah, you speak about the negligence law per se. I mean, when I was starting out, as a young attorney, whatever walks in the door, you tend to think, well, gee, they gave me a license, they made me a member of the bar, I can do this.
Right.
So I had a couple negligence cases come in, and I actually carried them through trial. Now they were just minor, slip and fall type matters, but the agony I went through with trying to worry about, did I do the right thing? Did I file the right papers? Did I meet a certain deadline? All these things that are probably second nature to you. You know, it was all new to me, and that's the work you had to do. But there's also the responsibility, just knowing that if you mess up something, you mess up somebody's life or a little portion of it. So
absolutely.
I got a really great respect for negligence attorneys just in my first few years, and gladly backed out of that practice and let the experts take it over.
I appreciate you giving that information to the folks out there, because there are so many people that do this type of work. It's important to note my firm, the Dietrich Law Firm, only handles injury cases. We don't handle any other type of cases other than injury cases. If you've been injured as a result of someone's negligence, contact us at 716-839-3939. Getting back to Linda's case and your family circumstances, you have another lawyer in the family.
We
You actually have two lawyers. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yes, that's right.
Our firstborn daughter is an attorney.
In Western New York.
In Western New
Yep.
York. And our son is likewise an attorney in Richmond, Virginia,
Yep.
and does the opposite of
what I do.
Right.
So your son does work for the insurance companies. So if someone is involved in a collision, the insurance company hires a lawyer to defend them, and your son does that type of work. So he's
Correct.
familiar with the other side of your type of case.
Correct.
And did you have occasion to speak to your son about how your case occurred and what you didn't remember about trying to cross the street?
when I was first injured, he said to both his sisters, contact Jed. So that is exactly what we did when I became a little more coherent and could follow.
Oh, I'm glad you
Got you on the
contacted
case.
me, and I'm again flattered by the fact that your husband's an attorney. You've got two children that are attorneys. I'm sure attorneys know other attorneys. You know many different lawyers in Western New York that handle personal injury cases. Again, your son's a perfect example of someone who's kind of stepped back from the personal side of it. But again, he can say, okay, if I had a case like this, what would I do with it if I was defending the case? Linda had a difficult case because she didn't remember what happened. She was riding a bicycle. It was not at an intersection. She was attempting to cross a 4-lane road, which is Maple Road out here in Amherst. We ended up with a result that was acceptable, and it was a way to resolve it at a value that I think was appropriate for your circumstances. Did you talk to your son about that, John?
Well, I did. My conversations with my son were a little bit different in that it was lawyer to lawyer. You know, Linda discussed with him what's Jed doing, and she would be able to tell you what was going on. But I discussed kind of the legal background of the case. I don't want to say he said the case was impossible, but he said the case was pretty difficult.
Well, to your credit, Linda, I know that your injury was quite significant. How much time did you spend at Erie County Medical Center?
A month.
A month in the hospital as a result of being struck by a car when you were on your bicycle.
Correct.
And you didn't have a helmet on, so what were your general injuries?
I had many fractures, mostly from the waist up, and I guess a pretty good concussion.
Mm-hmm. Your recovery was obviously difficult, and during that period of time you were trying to put back together in your mind what had happened, and to this day you don't really remember attempting to cross the street. Is that correct?
I have no recollection of it at all.
Well, what we did, just so folks at home understand this, is we hired a team of investigators in conjunction with the 17 legal professionals in my office, and we went back and looked at the police report. We went back and looked at the scene where this occurred, where Linda was struck. We went to New York State Supreme Court. We sued the case in the New York State Supreme Court. We filed discovery things, and we gave them your medical records, which is what happens. And then we got records from the defendant and also had an opportunity to question him under oath at what's known as a deposition. So the deposition is a sworn testimony under oath. There's no judge or jury, but it was at that point in time that we elicited information. We got information from the defendant, which we believed we could use to argue that he was negligent. He said a couple of things there that were somewhat contrary to him not being negligent. So we had the argument that he was negligent, and that ultimately allowed us to make this recovery on your behalf.
You know, some people may think you just get the case, make a phone call, and a check comes through. But you can see it was obviously a lot of work. And I think the deposition was pretty crucial because, of course, Linda went into the deposition being questioned by the other side. She had no idea what really happened. But, you know, you don't want to say the wrong thing either about the injuries and the recovery and where you stand. And you had met with her, told her what to expect, and it was right on, exactly the way that you said it was going to be, and she fortunately was able to follow through on it.
May I add a little
Of course,
bit
Linda,
to that?
please.
Being married to an attorney for a number of years, I would ask John after a case or a trial what happened, and he would explain. I thought I listened, I thought I understood, but when you're in the middle of it, when you're the person in the middle of the lawsuit, you have no clue as to what to expect. It is just something that made me tense and thought, can I get through this? And what do I need to say? And we met, and I calmed right down because you explained everything, right to the last letter of what to expect and what they would question me on, and that just calmed me down and made it much more easy to be in the deposition.
And that's what we try to do. Number one, I personally meet with every client. I handle the cases in my office personally. And as a result of that, it allows us to work together such that you hopefully feel more comfortable. So what we're talking about now is the preparation for the deposition, which means we bring you in and we say, okay, this is the general outline of a deposition. I've been doing this type of work, specifically injury work, for 17 years. I've been a lawyer for 22 years. And over the past 17 years, I've handled thousands of cases on behalf of people who are injured like you. I've focused on that area to try to become the best lawyer in that area that I can be, and to allow my clients to obtain the best possible result. And that's what we try to do. So when we're preparing you for a deposition, as you know, Linda, we talk about the general routine the defense attorney would go through. Typically, they talk about your background, your educational experience. Then they talk about your employment experience. And then we talk about how the collision occurred. And again, I went through that with you, and just so folks out there understand how it works. Then we talk about the medical treatment, and obviously the medical treatment is crucial. You have to obtain prompt medical treatment. There are strict time deadlines involved with bringing injury cases. We're here to help people, 716-839-3939. If you have a question or a concern, you've been injured, please contact me. With regard to preparing for the deposition, however, we go through the medical, and then we get up to the point of the deposition in the timeline, and then we even talk about the future. So we work with the doctors and we try to determine, okay, Linda, will you need another surgery in the future, or will you need more medical treatment? So part of our goal is to not only compensate you for your pain and suffering, but to also compensate you for your future medical expenses, or if you're going to miss time from work. Now, again, you were retired, Linda. You were a kindergarten teacher for how many years?
34 years of teaching.
34 years as a teacher.
And I had just retired in June, and the accident was in September.
Linda, again, has been a friend of our family for many years. She actually taught 3 of my children in kindergarten, all 3 of my kids, which is nice. John, let's talk a little bit more about when we worked against each other. I was an assistant district attorney in Erie County. And you were doing some criminal work at that point in time. Let's talk a little bit about that. Do you remember that?
Well, I do remember. I always respected the way you approached a case. That's where I first got to know you from a professional basis. I've never known you to be anything but upright and upstanding and ethical.
The mission statement of my law firm is to provide the highest level of personal injury service for you. We return every phone call within 1 business day, frequently the same day. We treat you the way we want to be treated, and we work hard on your behalf to attempt to obtain the greatest possible settlement for your injuries. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jed Dietrich. I'm with Linda Nichols and John Nichols. John's a lawyer in the Western New York community. He's been a lawyer for many, many years, 4 decades. And Linda was involved in a biking accident. She was attempting to cross Maple Road here, didn't have a helmet on, and was not at a crosswalk or the main intersection, and ultimately a collision occurred. Linda doesn't remember much about that. So what we did is we reconstructed that that collision from the police report and from the testimony of the defendant and from hiring our investigators to go out and take pictures and the legal professionals in my office. We put the case together in a way that was strongest for you to obtain maximum compensation on your behalf. I appreciate you both coming in here today. Is there anything else, Linda, that you'd like to talk about that we haven't talked about so far?
I would think, as I look back at it, to encourage everyone, no matter the age, to wear a helmet. They need to have their helmets on. I had ridden for so long not with a helmet that I neglected to put my helmet on, and regret that, certainly. And
Understood. Yeah, thanks for adding that. John, is there anything else you'd
Well,
like to
I would
add?
think from a legal standpoint, and I would certainly encourage them to come in and speak with you about it. I think they should certainly come and see you.
Well, thank you for saying that, John. So if you've been injured and it wasn't your fault, contact me at 716-839-3939. If you're on a bicycle and you're injured and it's not your fault, it's the same thing. Contact me. John, thank you for coming in so much.
Thank you, Jed. It's always a pleasure.
Linda, no, it's my
Thank you,
pleasure.
Jed.
Thank you,
Thank
Linda.
you.
All right.
I was riding my bike.
We were in the car together and we were hit.
And it did not stop. It hit me.
Pretty much hit me head on.
I got hit from behind.
My leg was broken in several places.
I had many fractures.
And then I get that phone call, and he's been hit.
I knew right away something wasn't right.
My injuries were getting worse.
I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what was going on. And that's when I knew I had to give you a call.
But I said, who can I call to help me again? Jed Dietrich.
Oh, that was amazing. When I got a hold of you guys and you guys took care of everything.
It was almost like I felt led to reach out to you. It was almost like I felt led to reach out to you.
And I called you and you handled that thing. I mean, you handled it.
I calmed right down because you explained everything.
You came right to the house.
Contact Jed.
You guys took that load off of me. What I didn't know, you guys filled me in.
I knew that I was in good hands and people that I could trust.
Contact Jed.
When you're suffering, to know someone is there for you. That means a lot, Jed.
It made me feel comfortable that all I had to do was focus on my recovery.
You stand by your word.
It just felt right.
I didn't have to deal with the insurance company anymore.
Putting yourselves in my shoes, and I really appreciated that.
I just knew that it was going to be taken care of.
Contact Jed.
Yeah, you're a real fighter.
The whole experience in general was amazing.
It was superb.
A weight off my shoulders.
Contact Jed.
Above and beyond.
That's someone who you should go for.
I would only trust Jed Dietrich.
Contact Jed.
I'm Jed Dietrich. Stay tuned for important information that you need to preserve your rights if you've been injured as a result of someone else's negligence. I'm Jed Dietrich. Thank you for joining me concerning this presentation on what to do when you're injured through someone else's fault. We're talking to Bill Carter here today. Bill, good to see you.
Good to see you again, Jed.
Bill, you and I have known each other for about how many years?
Approximately 12 years.
12 years, and you have had a number of injury cases. When I first came into contact with you, tell us about that.
Well, we actually had called you in regards to a case with me and my wife. We were in the car together and we were hit. And then we called you. You came right to the house. My father was there. I'll never forget it. From the very beginning, from step by step, you handled that case with great class and integrity.
I appreciate you saying that, and I remember going to your house in Niagara Falls. It wasn't too far from the river, and at the time you were doing a little musical work because you're a
Yes.
musician in addition to your other attributes.
Yes.
And your wife, you were telling me about you and your wife used to play in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, and she was a great
Tell
singer.
the people at home about that.
Well, actually, we had done a lot of shows in Vegas. Evelyn was a great singer, still is, but she had the surgery. She had to go to the surgery because of the accident, but we actually stopped doing events and things of that nature.
Understood.
The pain management team helped us stay out of pain. It was a great thing.
Of course, yeah. That's important for the people at home to understand that when you're involved in an automobile collision, your own insurance company, your no-fault company, pays your medical bills and reimburses you for your lost wages. But they're like any other insurance company, they don't want to pay.
Exactly.
Remember, along the way with yours, they sent you to their own doctors and things like that. Let's talk about that.
But it was very challenging because the doctors, we have our doctors, but the insurance companies have their doctors.
Yep.
And they want to make it inconvenience for you.
Well, those insurance company doctors, they're paid by the insurance company. They're supposed to be looking at you to be independent, but what they're really doing is they're trying to cut you off of your treatment so the insurance company doesn't have to pay any more money for your medical treatment.
You're exactly right.
Yeah, and you went to those exams.
Yes.
And we fought for you. So even if those insurance companies create a document, which is a medical report saying you can go back to work, and let's say your doctor says you can't go back to work, we argue that for you. So a lot of people are out there, they may have been in an accident, and they're getting medical bills, they don't know where to go, where to turn. There's strict time limitations involved in an injury case, and you know that, Bill. Our job is to preserve your rights, make sure all those timelines are properly handled, so you don't have to worry.
Exactly. We didn't get one bill. You make sure we knew, if in case we forgot, so you got an appointment, you know, your office, your staff is incredible.
Thank you so much for saying that about my staff.
Yeah.
We have 17 legal professionals in the office here. And what we do is we focus on personal injury law. We focus on helping you through your time of need so you can work on recovering from your injuries. And then, unfortunately, you had another incident.
Yeah, it was a hit again.
And what happened the second time?
Well, the second time, I got hit from behind. More pain and suffering again. It's like,
course.
I want to avoid this. But I said, who can I call to help me again? Dietrich. I was able to contact you directly to your cell phone. You called me back. The calls was always answered. That's so important, to be able to talk to your attorney.
Of course, and I handle every case that's in my office. When I handle your case, we get to know each other,
Yes.
and we've known each other quite a bit. But I want everyone to know out there, I give every single one of my clients my cell phone number. So if you're in an accident and you've been injured, contact me at 716-839-3939. What makes my firm stand apart from the rest? Returning every phone call within one business day, treating you the way we want to be treated, and working hard on your behalf to obtain maximum compensation for you. The mission statement of my law firm is to provide the highest level of personal injury service to you. Contact me at 716-839-3939. What parts of your body were injured in your first case, Bill?
The back and the neck area.
Okay, and in the second case, what parts?
Re-injure and continuation of more suffering and pain.
A lot of the cases are people that have been, unfortunately, in multiple collisions. So if you're out there, you've been in a collision or in a collision before and you're afraid to bring a claim, contact me at 716-839-3939. We're here to help you. If you're in an accident and it's not your fault, we're here to help you. So if you would, could you provide a comparison of the way my office and the way I handle things to some other people?
Your experience as a lawyer, you were more responding, you were fair. I was able to contact you. Some attorneys I couldn't contact.
What we try to do is sit down with you, get the information when the case first starts, find out a little bit about you so that we can represent you better, and then tell you how the system works. Your bills will be paid by no fault, and your wages will be reimbursed by no fault, and every month you need a disability note from your doctor to go to the no fault people, and the no fault adjuster has to write the check and get it out to you, and a lot of times they don't, they're on vacation, so we'll get on the horn and we'll call the no fault adjuster. If she's not there or doesn't return our call within one business day, we'll escalate it to the supervisor. So I have my staff trained, so we're not going to wait 2 or 3 days to hear back from the no fault adjuster. If they don't get back to us within one business day, we'll call the supervisor and say to the supervisor, look, Sally Jones did not send the check to my client, Bill Carter. He has to pay his bills. He has to pay his gas bill. He has to pay his rent.
Yes.
So we need to do what we need to do to protect Bill and his family, because your family gets impacted when you have
Yes.
these injuries.
That means a lot, America. So know that you could trust this man on all your situation. He actually does what he said he's going to do, above and beyond. So I recommend you, this attorney you want to be with, really.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And my personal philosophy is I'm a competitive person by nature. I just want to win on your behalf and for myself too, and the way the arrangement works, and everybody kind of knows this, but I'll just say it again. Our fee is a third. We get paid when you get paid. The more we get you, the more I get for my firm and to support my family. So we're trying to do what we can, everything we can, to get you the best possible result. And as we go through that, we want to try to make life easier for you as we go through.
Yeah, you're a real fighter.
Yeah.
Real fighter.
Well, and again, the people on the other side, they know that when I go, I'm going to do everything I can to try to help you get the best recovery possible. So hire the investigators, have my legal professionals scroll through every single stitch of medical record on your case. And we have folks in the office who prepare medical chronologies. So we look at your first case and your second case and get your first MRI versus your second MRI. And all those things allow us to take your case all the way to trial if we have to. Now, with your situation, we got your cases resolved without trial, but I just had a trial last month. It went for 2 weeks in the New York State Supreme Court. It was someone who had a lower back injury that resulted in a surgery, and the jury provided that woman with an award, and the doctors came in and testified for her, and that is something we are prepared to do, take your case all the way to trial, because the minute people think you're not ready to go to trial, they don't pay as much. So we prepare every single case as if it's going to go all the way to trial. And again, Bill, you were involved in a couple of different things in my office, so you can come from the perspective of knowing what we have done.
You have prepared the case so well and done your work, in particular how you do your legal representation so well, we never had to go to court. They knew you had it together. They was not even going to try to challenge you in that way. That's legal representation, good legal representation.
Bill, is there anything else about the way I handled the case or my staff handled the case that you think people out there would like to know?
You have a trained, well-trained staff that knows what they're talking about. They're not guessing, and if they don't know, they say, well, we'll get right back to you. They hang up, they've always called back within, I only time it. Are you gonna call me? 20 minutes, Mr. Carter, yes. I said, thank you, I feel better that I can talk to you. You know, just being able to talk to you.
Sure.
You're concerned, you care.
Yes.
That means a lot.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate your time.
Pleasure to see you and talking to you, Jed.
Okay.
All right, God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining my special guests and me. I hope you've learned something. If I can ever be of service to you, please contact me at 716-839-3939.
But so who can I call to help me again? Jed Dietrich.
Contact Jed.
Oh, that was amazing. When I got a hold of you guys and you guys took care of everything.
Contact Jed.
He was the only one who handled the situation before.
It was almost like I felt led to reach out to you. It was almost like I felt led to reach out to you.
Contact Jed.
And I called you and you handled that thing. You handled it.
I calmed right down because you explained everything.
You came right to the house.
Contact Jed.
You guys took that load off of me. What I didn't know, you guys filled me in.
Contact Jed.
I knew that I was in good hands and people that I could trust.
Contact Jed.
When you're suffering, to know someone is there for you. That means a lot, Jed.
Contact Jed.
It made me feel comfortable that all I had to do was focus on my recovery.
Contact Jed.
You stand by your word.
Contact Jed.
It just felt right.
I didn't have to deal with the insurance company anymore.
Putting yourselves in my shoes, and I really appreciated that.
That means a lot, Jed.
Contact Jed.
I just knew that it was going to be taken care of.
Contact Jed.
Yeah, you're a real fighter.
The whole experience in general was amazing.
It was superb.
Contact Jed.
A weight off my shoulders.
Contact Jed.
Above and beyond.
That's someone who you should go for.
I would only trust Jed Dietrich.
Contact Jed.